Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Samuel Burke joins us from CNN New York. Fashion and foreign affairs crossing paths in Iran. Samuel.
Hala, in an interview with BBC Persian late last week, Prime Minister Netanyahu talked about some of the lack of freedoms in the Iranian electoral process, but he also made a comment about clothing, and that's what has social media buzzing in Iran. Take a listen.
I think if the Iranian people had their way, they'd be wearing blue jeans, they'd have Western music, they'd have free elections.
So, Hala, he was right in his assertion about some of the lack of freedoms in the Iranian electoral process, but it turns out he wasn't correct about jeans. Iranians can, in fact, wear jeans openly. In the period after the revolution, they were frowned upon, as being too Western. But now, folks in Iran are taking to Twitter and taking pictures of themselves and tweeting them out wearing jeans. I want to show you a few. I want to start with one from a user who calls himself @Ali_Inverse, and he says, "We pray with #jeans, #IranJeans," and you can see him there doing the traditional Muslim prayers in jeans. Another tweet from @Salar, and this tweet appears to be coming from inside Iran, and he replies to Mr. Netanyahu and says, "Here are my #jeans and Western music." You can see a tablet on top of his jeans there, and it appears to be playing Western music. And finally, one from a user who calls himself @Ruznameh, and it's a photo of a little boy who appears to be wearing jeans with Iran's supreme leader. So Mr. Netanyahu correct about some of the lack of freedoms in the electoral process, but as we can see there, Iranians are wearing jeans and tweeting about it, Hala.
Right, and I was just logging into my Twitter page to check out the #jeans, and I guess it's #jeans. There's a funny picture of Benjamin Netanyahu, you'll remember from last year's United Nations General Assembly when he had that cartoonish bomb drone on a board. There's one of him holding up a pair of low rider jeans, which is, let's be honest, kind of funny. But he's not completely off the mark in the sense that there is no free access to Twitter to begin with. I mean, you have to VPN in order to access Twitter from Iran.
Exactly, and that picture you're just referencing is one of the most shared pictures in Iran right now. But yes, there's a bit of irony that the Iranians are taking to Twitter to criticize Mr. Netanyahu for his comment. But in fact, Twitter is officially banned in Iran. But as you and I both know, Hala, the Iranians are very internet savvy, and they use that VPN software to get around the blockade, to be able to use social media platforms and view websites that are supposed to be banned inside Iran. And it even appears that Iran's president, or at least his office, and the foreign minister are also using that same software because, of course, we know the president's office and Mr. Javad Zarif, the foreign minister, he's tweeting himself. So even some of Iran's top leaders using that software to get around the Twitter blockade, it appears.
It's become so easy to get that software. One wonders why there's a ban at all anywhere. Thanks very much. Samuel Burke is live in New York, and if you'd like to